Hey everyone, if you're watching this episode of The Patch on YouTube, just want to remind you that we do live stream it exclusively for First members Wednesday afternoon. If you'd like a 30-day free trial, just check out the link below in the information. Do it. Hello everyone, welcome to The Patch. This week brought to you by Movement and Trunk Club.
Yeah, that's right, we are. Check on your shoes. I'm sorry, I'm just really excited about it.
We'll talk about your shoes and your Trunk Club
All right, fine.
a little later this episode.
All right.
This is The Patch. I'm Gus.
I'm Adam.
I'm Ashley.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Gus. I feel a little self-conscious.
You are?
We were recording earlier, and I was wearing a hat, and my hair's really flat.
It's a little less. I just thought you had a haircut, though. to be honest.
That's how I feel when I walk
down.
Gus, just do the whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
I did that.
I wear a
Whoosh,
head
whoosh,
like a
And
headset all day.
you weren't wearing
I was
a
wearing
hat. You were wearing
chainmail, so I can't.
It's a little more dangerous.
I can't floof it back out as easily. But that's
chain
neither
gets
here
in
nor
there.
there. That's a different show, which you'll probably be watching at some point later. This is The Patch.
Right.
This
We're here
is
to talk about video
specific-
games, and the big game of the week, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided.
How excited.
He's smiling so much.
It's a fun game. Yay. This is
All
like
right,
the
so are
kickoff of
you
good
a-
games for the fall.
Yes, I feel like
No Man's Sky sucked.
No Man's Sky was fine.
Sucked.
Man's Sky was
it's
fine.
got a real.
Let's not talk about No Man's
sales had
Sky.
a
Let's
huge
talk
drop
about
off.
Deus
That-
Ex.
Here's the thing. We can talk. Let's talk about
All
the sales
games
a
have
little
a
bit
huge
later
sales drop off.
because that's really like
Not all of them have that huge of a drop
yes,
off.
they all do.
They all do.
Fallout,
All of them?
Fallout 4,
Fucking
Dark
A.
Souls. We looked at all of the big releases this year.
Uh-huh.
They all do that because week one counts
All the
every pre-order for months and months and months in advance.
So it's an inflammatory, very leading headline, which is why you saw it a lot. But every game goes through that.
yeah, we went
It's
through
just
and we
part of
looked at a
growing up.
lot of the top sellers for the last year, and they're all 80. Well, most of them are 80 plus.
All right.
So
So take that, Adam.
Deus Ex.
Deus Ex. We actually
So-
did a stream for it yesterday because it came out and we were all super excited about it. So we played through the early parts of it. It was really fun because Adam's a PC player, and so he's super used to keyboard and mouse.
It
So
does
we
not
put it on
control
Xbox
good
One and we
on
gave him a controller, and then we
controllers.
just watched and giggled.
I mean, yeah.
It does not. It
I
is
would-
not good on controllers.
I would say
I don't
that
even
it's
know if it's
definitely
just
a-
like my skill at controllers.
No, it's a keyboard mouse game.
It
if you
is-
have the option.
It is a fairly like not tight shooter as it is, and I was playing it as a shooter. Because I'm going to go stealth.
You went lethal. Okay.
Because I was stealth in my real game on PC, so I want to do something different. And man, was it
You went
not
in hard.
great. But I like immediately when I hopped in on PC, like I went with the non-lethal ranged approach.
Non-lethal sniper rifle?
Yeah, so
That's what I
I
took
got a
as well.
trank gun, and like it's like I get headshots every time because it's like super accurate, and it feels really good to shoot on PC.
I just get the nice little points where it's like you did nice things, and like the three of them will pop
Yeah,
up,
yeah,
and I'm like,
it's-
yeah, I did. The only problem is like when I fuck something up and I have to backtrack a bit, and all those guys are up again.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to do non-lethal as well, but I took a lethal gun.
What do you guys
What?
playing?
I can't use a gun. I just have to take down or sneak.
What
you guys
platform are you
playing?
Holy
playing it on?
crap!
Xbox One.
Xbox One.
I've got it on Xbox One, but I might switch to PC.
PC, listen, the quick save button, as always, super invaluable. I'm like a real big
That
save
is
scummer,
nice.
so like I'll just be every like 5 seconds, I'll be like F5, and it's seamless because it doesn't slow down the game at all. So you hit it every now and again, and I've only died a few times, but
So your amazing lameness is why you like it better.
it controls well. It looks fucking awesome.
I
that's-
had a problem. Speaking of controls, I did have a problem with the game. You know, early on, it's trying to teach you how to bring up the menu and how to recharge your, with the biocell and all of that stuff. I couldn't figure out how to recharge my biocell. Like,
Yeah.
I was pulling up the menu or the radial diagram
Left
and
trigger.
pulling left trigger, and it just wasn't working. And I realized that since I have the Elite, I had the quick triggers activated.
Oh.
It doesn't
it's gotta be a full
register
pull.
enough. It's
You
not a
can
full
fix
pull.
that.
Right, but I just
Yeah.
didn't know. So it's like I played most of the first level without the ability to recharge my biocell. Then towards the end, I was like, oh, the quick pull.
That's
so I
bizarre.
had to undo it.
I found in the console the reholstering a weapon button was ridiculous.
It was
Where
pretty funny watching you
hold
around Prague,
X
though.
and then push left trigger at the same time.
That's kind of.
But that's all nitpicky. The game itself is fun. Have you guys played Human Revolution?
of course.
Yes.
Yes, everyone.
I played a little bit of it. It's a game like Mass Effect where I started it a couple times and I just haven't got through that initial point where I go from to oh my god, I'm so into this.
Yeah. So it is definitely a lot of Human Revolution. It's I think Giant Bomb mentioned this. The color scheme is way different. In Human Revolution, it was all gold and black.
Yeah.
In this game, it's more of like a realistic color palette. As soon as you beat the prologue, you get put into Prague, and I think Prague is like a really cool, well mapped out city. Have you guys done any exploring in Prague?
No, not
Done a
yet.
little bit. Done a little bit of exploring.
I've explored like that whole. They section it off, but like my first 3 hours or so were exploring that area. I didn't want to do any quests. By the way, the thing we did yesterday when we went into the sewers to try to find our way in, that was like the game doesn't clearly explain to you that you really can't get back up the other way. There was no way up. That one in the restricted area is from within that mission. Like, so I spent last night like 3 hours trying to figure out like how the fuck do I get in to the building, and then I realized there was just like another way up and over.
All right,
Gotcha.
so let's back up for a second. So explain it to me as if I hadn't yet played the game. Does it have kind of that open world kind of elements to it, like the Human Revolution?
Yeah, like it's open world in that you can go anywhere within the hub world. And there's things to find, like there's side quests to find, there's like buildings to explore, there are missions and everything, but it is not like an open world in the sense like GTA. Like it is a very tight, small area to explore. But it's all packed with stuff, and it's all like it's really well handcrafted. Like there's so much stuff to find in every building, and like every apartment you go into has like a different story. Like I went into one last night, and it was like a crazy cat lady apartment. Like on the board, it was like things to buy: cat food, cat litter, cat bowl, new cat, like, stuff like that. And, like,
New cat.
And I
New
found,
cat was 3. Wow.
Yeah.
They're showing some restraint. They're really trying this year.
Yeah, I found like another apartment that was just like it was pretty normal until you found like a telescope that was pointing at someone else's apartment. Like they're obviously peeping on them. So like,
Can you go to that
still
person's
pretty
apartment?
normal, right?
Yeah.
Can
Still
you like
pretty,
go to
that's
around to that
normal.
person's apartment and like draw the curtains?
I didn't try.
Is that not normal?
But I mean, if you're into exploration and finding little nooks and crannies, this is a game, man.
So
Is it-
they did something great in this game as well that I was very happy about. It annoyed me when we were streaming yesterday because we didn't have the volume on. I don't think we really realized what we were doing. Where when you launch a new game, they give you the option. If you want, you don't have to do this. You can watch a 12-minute video that recaps the entire story of Human Revolution.
I think we started to do this.
we did, and then
Does
we
it
skipped
just
and then
do Human Revolution, or does it extend
just Human Revolution?
Okay.
But
I wish you could pause the video.
Can you not?
You can.
'Cause you can pause every other cutscene in the
You
game.
cannot pause that video.
Okay.
You can skip it, but
Oh,
you
it has
can't pause
pausable
it.
cutscenes.
Yes, I found that
That's
out
very
because I knew
interesting
that I was
to know.
cooking in the middle of everything, and I pulled up a cutscene. You can pause.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so I had kind of forgotten some of the points of Human Revolution, so it was good to get that refresher. And it didn't feel like a 12-minute video. Like I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that was good. It's good that I
Now,
watched it."
if I
really-
remember though, there was a variable outcome in Human Revolution, right?
So I don't know how they would have done this any other way,
Yeah.
but they basically went with an ending, and the ending was they broadcast a signal that affected Augs and made them go crazy and start killing everything and like each other and things, and it was a
so
huge
you
event.
failed.
You sort of failed, yeah.
In Human Revolution.
But basically, the end result is people are all very scared of Augs. And so when you get to Prague, and this is actually my one...
Haha.
Am I
Prague
saying
and
right?
Augs.
Oh, Prague, I get
Augs
it.
and Prague.
I think like, it's not really a detractor, but someone in the stream said it looks a lot like City 17. It does, but it doesn't feel like the classic cyberpunk zone to me, if you know what I mean. Like it feels sort of like a futuristic city that has been militarized and has like a bunch of checkpoints everywhere, which is what it is, and that's fine. But in my mind, I feel like cyberpunk to me is like, did you play the China level in the last Deus Ex, where it's just like giant skyscrapers and neon signs everywhere,
the 2-level city,
Kind
and
of like the
everything.
Neo Tokyo approach to it.
Exactly. That to me is kind of what I imagine when I think of cyberpunk. But this still has like robots walking around and things like that.
This feels almost a little bit more dystopian, like slight future dystopian, as opposed to cyberpunk, like pure cyberpunk,
Although this train station does feel a lot like Japan, although not as many people.
and a little too
dirty.
dirty.
And also, there's a lot of
Dirty.
Asians walking by at the moment too, so that helps.
But the combat on PC feels really good. I don't do a lot of it. I'm playing a stealth run, and there are like an excessive amount of paths to find, which is great. I found like little stories in different places. That one story we found where the guy wanted a pass to get by, that ended up being like a whole side quest. End story, like he's dead. I killed him because he's a jerk and I don't like him. But
So much for the non-lethal stealth run.
right, well, is It's fine. But one thing that happened to me was I went into an apartment and I found this computer and I hacked into it, and it was like the story of like these people are neon dealers, which is like the drug in the game, and someone else is encroaching on their turf, and you need to find out. And it's like, okay, go to this apartment complex in this part of the city, and go to this apartment number. And I was like, fucking cool. This is going to send me to another part of the city. I'm going to go on this cool side quest, and I saved it in my quest log, and I was going to do it in a little bit. And then I was exploring the sewers, trying to find my way into the first mission, and I found the thing we found last night with all the people in the lab.
Yep.
I destroyed that lab, and that was the end of that side quest. So I missed everything in the middle of a side quest where, like, and I actually ended up, like, I went to the end of the side quest. I beat the lab down there. I blew it up, and like, all right, you don't blow it, you drain it, but whatever. It completed the side quest for me, and I was like, fuck, I missed something. Because, like, you end up talking to this lady, and you sort of, like, you feel like it should be set up because you're talking to her about something, but it doesn't really make any sense. And then all of a sudden, you complete the side quest. And then I went to the apartment that it mentioned in my notes, and I went there, and there was like another thing. It was like, oh man, you got to go to this club. There's something happening there, but it doesn't prompt you on your menu to go there because you've already beaten the mission.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I fucked up by completing a quest too early.
The worst experience I've ever had with that was in Fallout 3.
No.
It was like when you're supposed to go meet Three Dog. Instead, I was like, I'm just going to explore. It was my first playthrough ever Fallout 3. I was like, I'm just going to go to the wasteland and really explore. And in my exploration, I ended up at Rivet City. And as I walked into Rivet City, it instantly canceled the go find Three Dog quest. Because after you do all Three Dog, you're supposed to go to Rivet City. I was like, fuck. So my first playthrough, I never met Three Dog.
Yeah. God, man, I wish it wouldn't have let me interact with like, you can interact with these certain things at the end of the quest. I wish it would have just not had the option. Because it's cool that I could go and it's free and I can do whatever I want, but I want to see all the bits that lead up to it.
You want the story to unfold as it was designed and not circumnavigate it.
Right.
Have you ever managed to completely break a game by either like killing like a main quest giver or something like that?
I feel like I have. I can't remember.
It's one of those things where sometimes you do it and you're like, oops, and then you just load it. So it doesn't stick in your brain as much.
Right.
Because you undo it so quickly.
Well, there's so back when I played Morrowind, it had a message if you'd killed someone who would later come up as a key main quest character, a little warning would pop up that like this character is very important. You might want to reload a previous save, basically. And I didn't read it properly, and I just closed it because I was in the middle of like fighting someone else.
Don't tell me what to do, you stupid game.
Pretty much. And like I completely broke the game as a result because it would let you just keep going if you want. But
not everybody plays the game for the story.
Here are the systems laid out in front of you. Yeah. And that is the one thing about Deus Ex is it sort of feels, it reminds me of like Thief, like the original Thief. And it sort of feels like a game that could have existed in like the early 2000s.
Sure. Well, Deus Ex.
You mean like Deus Ex?
Right. I'm saying like, but there's nothing here aside from the graphics that are like, that's super innovative and different. It feels decidedly like an old school game. Like even like the gunplay isn't super tight and things like that, but it sort of has a charm to it.
It does definitely have that.
Charm is one word, but like charm is a generous word for it. It's a word that people who want to like the game give to a janky control system.
It is not the tightest feeling game.
When you get down to it, it's an action RPG. It's not a shooter.
It's a stealth RPG. Even.
It is a stealth RPG.
You can play it, as a shooter if you want to get super aggressive like that, but it's not made for you to do that, and it doesn't help you much.
I do appreciate, though, that when you play through a stealth, you do still come across a lot of things where you can see how if you'd gone in lethally, like you could have found this on this guy to unlock that thing because you probably wouldn't have had that skill. So they do still support the lethal players. But yeah, I think control scheme-wise, that game is way more satisfying as a stealth.
It's funny. It's not. So I agree. The gunplay is kind of bad, but there are other games I think even released this year that are more reliant on the gun that have poorer shooting mechanics.
I would agree.
The
with
one
that.
I think of is Quantum Break, where the shooting and the cover system was weak, but you had to shoot and use cover. Like there were no stealth options essentially. Right. You had to go through combat. This one at least I think has passable combat.
When I was playing it on the Xbox, I felt as though the auto aim, like on consoles you get a lot of auto aim. I feel like there wasn't much and that was sort of distracting. But I could also have just been terrible. But on PC, like it does feel better to shoot stuff. I feel like I have a lot more accuracy. I still don't try to, but like if I have to use my sniper rifle, I can.
How do you feel it looks graphically stacking up between the Xbox and PC?
On PC, if you crank it up, like I have it on very high with a mixture of things. I try to keep my texture detail on the highest, but there have been a couple times where like in the prologue you hit some like a sandstorm and my frame rate just tanks. But aside from that, like it looks pretty fantastic. There is a weird discrepancy between
What kind of video card do you have?
GTX 780.
Okay.
I wish I had. I eventually need. Yeah, I need to upgrade someday. But
That's still, I mean, that was the top of its generation.
yeah, but like 2-3 years ago
3
now.
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the recommended specs for PC for it are a Core i7 3770K 4-core at 3.5 gigahertz, an FX 8350 for CPU at least, GeForce. Oh crap! I hate audio ads that go yep. GeForce GTX 970 with at least 4 gigabytes.
Right, and the
Or
780
Radeon RX 480.
780 like power wise
yeah,
is
it's
pretty
not
close.
bad.
I think I have a 3 gig 780, so I think that's part of my problem.
That would
but-
hurt you on your larger textures.
Yeah, but like for the most part, I can run it at 60 frames a second and it looks fantastic. There's a weird thing though, like in cutscenes when you're talking to people, I look at Adam Jensen and his skin texture is like phenomenal. His hair looks pretty real.
moisturizes.
Like, he looks amazing.
Well, he
And then
doesn't have that much
Did you
skin
look at
left to
his-
moisturize. So
Did you look at his abs?
Yes, of course, they look great too.
They look
They're
really
chiseled.
good.
But then it cuts to the other person he's talking to, and it's like they had like 2 different teams of people making the models.
that
'Cause
has
they
been
look
an
like
issue
they're
with
made
Deus
of
Ex.
Play-Doh.
Yeah, Deus Ex Human Revolution had the same issue where a lot of the throwaway characters were just like caricatures. Almost.
But this isn't even like a throwaway character. Like it's a side mission. Like there's only like handfuls of side missions in these games, and like I was talking to the main character of a side mission, and like you couldn't tell the difference of like the inside of her mouth and the outside. It like fucking looks so
Ew.
weird. Yeah,
That sounds gross.
yeah. She looked like she was made of Play-Doh, and like it's being a little mean, but like there's a huge like disparity between the two.
Slight backtrack for Gus. Kensuke on Twitter says they did worse in Fallout 3. They ended up finding their dad by accident instead of going to 3 Dogs.
Where is your father in Fallout 3? You eventually meet up with him. I know he's working on Project Purity. Where do you meet him for the first time in that game?
Is he at Project Purity?
Is that where it is?
You find the aircraft carrier, and that's where you kind of pick up his trail. And I think they send you over to Project Purity.
Is that where he is?
Maybe not.
Because you have to clear out. No, because you have to clear out that area for them to move. Who'd you say it was? Who did one worse?
It's at Kensuke.
Let us know where that was. I'm curious. I can't remember for some reason right now, and I feel stupid because I
what
don't
an
remember that.
amazing jump to the end.
I'm going to jump back to that too.
Yeah.
Some games actually play into you have the freedom to do whatever kind of thing where like, or not whatever, but like in Metal Gear Solid 3, I cannot remember the name of the boss, but I believe it was the old sniper guy where you could see him. No, it was a guy in a wheelchair. Was it? I fucking cannot remember. There's a guy you can shoot.
Is a sniper guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
There's a guy you can shoot that is meant to be a boss
handicapped.
battle, but you see him at a certain point in the game earlier, and if you snipe him and kill him, he's no longer in your way. It's just not a boss
That
battle.
seems
in the
great.
game.
Why wouldn't you do that?
I love that kind of thing in a game.
Apparently, you can do that in Fallout 4 as well.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Have you what have you guys seen or done?
Tranquility Lane.
Okay.
Right?
Lovely.
That was it?
That's a place.
It
sure.
sounds very tranquil.
Is that-
It's
is it
when
like
you're
old
in that
folks' home?
simulation.
Right.
Where
Yeah.
it's like you go to the
yeah.
black and white stuff, and that's where your father is. I had to look it
So
up.
they just stumbled on him, and there he was.
Yeah.
So in comparison to a lot of that, Deus Ex is more linear. Like you can
it's
skip
not-
to
it's
the end
not
of a
like-
side quest, but
Right.
you can't skip
And you
to the end
still
of a
like the
game.
main story is advanced by actual missions, right? Where you deploy and go to, or is it not?
So I've only done. So I spent 6 hours yesterday before I did the mission we did that we were trying to complete yesterday, because I was trying to find. I found a way in, but it still didn't seem like it was stealthy enough because you climb over and in, and you get to a point where the guys are basically just facing this little tunnel that you need to crawl in, so you have to kill people. So I was avoiding doing that for a while, but the mission that I did it's all like in that hub world.
So you haven't deployed to another area.
No, but I've also I've done like that mission in the sewers. It isn't a side area, but it is secluded away from everything else. Like, you enter a hostile zone.
It's all contiguous, though. You don't actually leave. It's not like you go through a loading screen.
But there is an exception to that. You can get on a train, and you can do it pretty immediately. Like, you can go down to the train station and hop to like 3 or 4 different locations in Prague and just go somewhere. And the loading screen is him just standing on a train, and people kind of stare at him. It's actually kind of long. On the Xbox, I was playing, and
An improvement from an elevator.
Yes.
Slow elevator.
Slow elevator.
On Xbox, the load times are fucking atrocious.
Oh, yeah?
Are they? You died. I don't know.
They were pretty long.
They were bad, dude.
Did you have it on an internal hard drive or external?
Internal.
This is on.
It was an internal, okay.
On Xbox, but
And
yeah.
it was
Yeah, no, you
the
can have
the
extra
One
one.
S as well.
Okay. I don't know. Does the S have a 7,200 RPM hard drive in it?
I don't know, but it's got 2 terabytes.
I
What's
think
up?
the original Xbox One had 5,400 RPM.
I believe you are correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Because that's the reason I was curious initially to open it up, was to try to swap it out with the 7,200 RPM drive, just to see if get my load times a little faster. I got something I need to read.
Yeah.
I want to remind everyone this episode of The Patch is brought to you by Trunk Club. Summer's here and new clothes are in order, but there's a problem. Shopping takes forever and it's not always easy to find what you're looking for. Make it easy to look your best in clothes that fit you perfectly, handpicked by your own personal stylist. Go to trunkclub.com/thepatch, type in your measurements, share your likes and dislikes, and you get your very own personal stylist. They'll pick your clothes from over 80 top brands and ship them right to your door. Keep what you like, send back what you don't. Trunk Club is not just another way to shop online. Your stylist takes the time to understand your unique look, and if you live in Dallas, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, or DC, you can stop by one of the Trunk Club clubhouses to work with your stylist in person for free. Trunk Club is not a subscription service. You get your own personal stylist, shipping is always free, and you have 10 days to try on the clothes risk-free. Make a statement at the next big event on your calendar with a look that's handpicked just for you and your style. Get started at Trunk Club today. Premium clothes, expert advice, no work, thanks to your very own personal stylist at Trunk Club. Get started today at trunkclub.com/thepatch. That's trunkclub.com/thepatch. And just a reminder for our female listeners, they also have women's clothing as well, of which Ashley is in love with her shoes.
Dude, I'm so excited. I got my shoes, I got my flannels, I got some sweet shorts. I actually, I'm keeping 50% of my first trunk. I'm super excited about it.
And if you want to just get a trunk, it's free to get the trunk, and you only pay for the clothes you keep. So why not? Just go sign up, get some clothes sent to you. It's actually a really interesting service to find new clothes that you might not
They're super
find
cute.
otherwise.
They're
Yeah.
little boat shoes. I would never have thought to buy boat shoes.
It's really tall.
Yeah, they make me tall too. It's even better. I need less boxes when I'm doing the news with Adam.
You still need the big box, though.
I do still need big boxes, but not as many of them.
I'm trying to see if I can look up the hard drive info on the Xbox One S.
Gotcha.
I'm looking that up as well.
The
achievements too on Deus Ex.
load times on PC significantly faster, except for when I got on that train the first
Pretty much. Really?
Yeah. It
Do
was,
you run your games off an SSD or?
I didn't on this one because I'm fucking out of space. I only have 120
Gotta
gig
clear
SSD.
the space.
I
Come
know.
on.
I'm just I was too eager to get into it.
Adam, you're holding on to too many games. You got to let go.
I
gotta
have
purge.
trouble doing that. I still have The Witcher on my SSD.
It's time
I'm
for the
never
purge.
gonna play that again, but
You
I
got to.
want
It's
to.
like the movie. You just purge the hard drive.
That's not the way that movie works.
It's
you
not?
You have not seen that movie.
I haven't. I just assumed that they clear off a lot of space.
What,
Well, I mean, in a manner of speaking, yeah.
Yeah, see?
I guess you could think of it that way.
The purge hard drives coming soon.
So the other thing about that game is the different play styles that you can do are really well represented. So I play stealth, but I don't know. I didn't have the we were playing yesterday, and I didn't have the the strength augment to be able to pick shit up. And Ash was like, "Why don't you fucking blow it up?" And there's a big giant refrigerator in my way. I threw a grenade at it, and it blew the path open. I was well, fuck yeah.
We blew up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
I'm looking at the achievements, and I think it's interesting that there is an achievement for beating the game without killing a single soul.
So you can do it.
Bosses are people too. It's in the achievement. So
What do
you
you
can
guys-
somehow beat the game without killing a boss.
See, the problem is don't try and do that on your first playthrough.
No.
Just little helpful advice. I actually did that with Dishonored. I tried to do the don't be seen and don't kill anybody achievements.
That does not seem
both
fun.
on the first playthrough. I got maybe halfway through the game and I was having so little fun that I just stopped and I never went back to that game. I ruined the game for myself.
I'm gonna try to get into Dishonored too.
It looks amazing.
Yeah. What do you guys what is your guys' play style with Deus Ex?
I mean, my normal RPG style is like thief archer, so I'm basically going stealth sniper.
Fair enough.
Yeah, normally I'm trying to kill less this playthrough. I'm trying to be a nicer Adam Jensen. Normally in the past, it's like it didn't matter to me. I just shoot everyone and go for it.
You're trying to be a nice Adam Jensen.
Trying to be a little
Have
nicer.
neither of you guys done the first mission in Prague yet?
No, I have not gotten that far yet.
Okay, there's like that first mission you get to is like when you first get to Prague, you for whatever reason your augments are not working properly, so you have to go get them fixed. And when you get to the guy that fixes them, he basically discovers that you have more augments that you can use, and they're like super augments.
But they're like hidden augments,
Right.
and they're more volatile.
So the thing is like you have basically you'll use too much power if you take too many augments. So if you take one augment, you need to drop another one forever.
And you can't relearn it.
Permanently.
Forever.
So like I still haven't done one of them because I don't want to ditch an augment permanently. But
Get rid of your eyes. You said you didn't want your
get
eyes.
rid of your magic eye that you said is too useful.
because I use it now so much.
Yeah,
you said you weren't going
wait,
to
you were
do this
making
before
fun.
you get attached.
You were making fun of the bitch eye, and
No,
now
no,
you're
I-
all like, "I love my
You got a
bitch
bitch eye? What's the problem?
I eventually want to have all the augments though. I don't
You
want to be
can't,
fully.
apparently.
What do you mean?
Well, you just said you
You
had to give
gotta
up one.
forget
Well, let
some
me
permanently.
explain to you. So the first thing that happens,
you were
the
explaining
first
to me.
thing that it happens after he's like, you have to give up augments to get the new augments. The first thing that happens afterwards is like, maybe you don't, and he like gives you a quest.
It seems
to go,
really
to go find
unclear.
something that
So if you just leave them be, then you can what
pick
make
them later. Like
space.
they just stay in your tree, and then like in the future you can pick them. And like if you theoretically, if you get whatever this item is that allows you to not have to give up old augments, you'll be able to just like pick them and have no
Let's
penalty.
see if that's an achievement. There's a lot of secret achievements in this game,
So I don't want to
including one called
slide
Ballsy.
backwards here,
We're
Okay.
sliding back.
but I'm going to slide backwards
Slide.
for a second.
Slide it.
Slide
because
away.
he's talking about achievements.
Yes.
Over the weekend, I was playing No Man's Sky. I'm sorry, I got to talk about it for just
That's
a
fine.
minute. We're quick conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was playing No Man's Sky, and I found a planet that had a lot of calcium on it, which is
Oh, nice.
a very rare element.
Is it
Is it
stackable?
the purple one?
It's
Yes.
the blue.
Totally
crystals,
read that as
right?
calcium.
Yeah, calcium.
Okay.
And I named the planet Callium here.
Huh,
And I was
nice.
like, I remember, that's my Callium planet, because you can sell it, make a lot of money. And I made a tweet about it, and then someone replied to me that they had just platinumed the game, and they couldn't remember what Callium was. They're like, can you refresh my memory of what Callium is? And of course, that's fine. You know, you may not need to know Callium, right? It's just like some obscure element.
It's a resource, just one of many.
But it made me start thinking, what are the fucking trophies in No Man's Sky? I had not thought about that at all.
I think I got a couple. I think it was like talk to a bunch of aliens, learn a bunch of languages.
So
is
yeah,
it all
assuming they're
the
the same as
milestones?
yeah, if they're the same as PC, then it's you talk to aliens, shoot down like pirate ships, kill sentinels.
All these things as
Anything a
words
milestone.
sound way cooler than they are in the game.
They do sound really awesome. Let's see.
I'm gonna see if I can find some of the gold ones that are difficult. Okay, so they have 8 gold ones. Attain encyclopedia status and uploaded discoveries. Attain discoverer status in space exploration. Attain magnate status in most units accrued. Attain babblefish status in words collected. Attain ambassador status in alien colonist encounters. Attain legend status in ships destroyed. Attain everlasting status in longest lifespan. Attain adventurer status in on-foot exploration. So it just seems like
It's all milestones,
Right.
basically.
Yeah,
Like,
and some of them are can be tough too. I want to say the lifespan one, or there's one that's
that's the one with the
Like
most comments.
that might be the survival one. There's one at least where it takes a really long time, where you have to be on an extreme planet, and you have to survive for a super long period of time. That I think the base version of that achievement is like 5 hours of survival, and the higher one is like 8 hours.
I wonder if they fixed that game yet, because those texts are still missing from or they were last time I played it,
What
which has been a
texts?
while. I actually searched around, and there's a lot of people who are having this issue, where I would get some of the technologies that would help you survive on extreme condition planets, and
Yeah.
they just aren't there. Like, I can't build them. They
Yeah.
just don't show up in my tech
Well,
inventory.
according to Sean Murray, you're less than 1%, because 99% of
Well,
people
great.
have
I
no
finally
issues.
made it to the
Talking
1%.
about
I thought that those were really dumb upgrades until I started finding some of the more rare elements that are always on extreme planets.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I absolutely need to have these.
Boy, I would love to
And they're
have them.
great.
I found them. You'd
Yeah.
think I'd be able to build them. Nope.
It is annoying to constantly be having to repower them, though.
Yes.
They drain very quickly.
And I use titanium for them, which I always invariably end up using to power my ship shields. And so it's like I use them on the ground for my exosuit. Then I get to space. I get attacked by pirates. Like, oh, I used all my titanium on the ground. I'm fucked.
That's when I just dive for the ground.
Yeah.
I try not to leave a planet without a couple stacks of iron, just so that I can keep my shields up.
Oh, also, I found a planet with a lot of emerald, and I called it BAM. Emerald. Thank you.
Yeah.
Little emerald Legacy there.
I finally found a planet. It had a bunch of those graviton balls, and so I farmed them constantly. I used the boosty speed thing, where you can do you're running and then you
melee.
jump and boost melee and jetpack and get around really fast because you can just chain away from them really easy and try and pick up another ball before they disengage.
Yeah.
Because if they disengage, then they respawn right by you.
Right.
If they haven't disengaged, then they're way off somewhere, and they just the timer hasn't run down yet. So that became the game of No Man's Sky for me until I got 5 or 6 million units, and then I decided that I wasn't enjoying it all that much, and I went in somewhere else.
You weren't inspired by money any longer. I found Planet break the economy with vortex cubes and no sentinels.
Yeah, that will break it.
Yeah.
It will break it. Did you get an amazing ship first, though?
Well, I did gave up. I was like, all right, well, I could just do this for hours, or I could go play something that's fun.
I had that. I quit. I stopped playing. I just didn't have any urge to, and I didn't play it again until over the weekend when I just had some time. I was like, what can I do? Yeah, I could play some No Man's Sky, and played it for another 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah, I think
that's what that game is for me now.
Deus Ex is my distraction from No Man's Sky now.
Yeah.
I don't see myself going back until I'm done, really, with Deus Ex and going through that.
This game is are you an explorer? Do you like to move everything in every building?
No, not all. No, I will have some explorer tendency, but not to the extreme.
We're talking about Deus Ex here for the moving everything in every building. Okay, just making sure that it was the full transition back.
So it is a nightmare because the second building I went in, I was like, I'm not going to fuck around with cardboard boxes because there's nothing. Then I moved one and I found a collectible triangle under it.
A collectible. Wait, what?
Fuck.
A collectible triangle?
They have collectible triangles in the game.
There's one in the tutorial level I found. When you go down, you drop down, then you look behind you at one point, and there's a fan.
They have this app.
And then you open
They
up
have
the
an
bottom
app?
of the fan, and you go through, and there's a collectible triangle in there.
So
I'm more of a
Did any of you
quadrilateral
guys end
fan,
up in the
but-
gas chamber?
No.
None of you. Okay, so in
Yes,
that.
no, I did.
In Dubai, there's the poisonous gas chamber.
You have the ability to go in there because you have super breathy.
Yeah, and it'll run your battery down or your
There's a
biocell.
little scanning app where you scan the triangles, and it'll give you developer commentary.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is that what those are for?
Yes.
Okay.
Interesting. Very interesting. But yeah, you can go down and sing. I got in there a couple times, and I ended up dying once or twice because I was determined to. I was like, "There's a way through here," and there is. It's you can go out a vent on the other side, and shortcut around through behind some other dudes. It's a good time.
That game is really good. If I don't know if it's for everyone. I can definitely see it's definitely a stealth exploration game.
If you don't play a thief archer in RPGs, then it might not be your thing.
However, if you have enough battery, the takedowns are real fun.
I love the takedown.
But then you have to keep up. You have to keep finding those biocells,
That's what
and
I'm
those
saying.
are kind of a
if
pain in the butt.
if you aug your battery up to max, you'll have enough to do a bunch of takedowns as they recharge. I think it's a pretty good trade-off. I don't know. Some of the experimental augs or the hidden augs look pretty cool. There's a remote hack, so you don't have to for those panels that are covered in electricity. You can just do it remotely. And there's remote electric. You can shoot your little blade out of your arm. You can shoot that at someone.
What's the upgrade system based on? Is it money? Is it
It's
you have to
praxis
find
kits.
things? Okay.
So
it's
every
kinda
time
like
you
Human
level up, you get a
Revolution.
praxis kit. Or if you play Deus Ex Go, you can get praxis kits.
really,
You can get 'em-
they translate over?
Yes, but only to PC and Xbox.
Okay, well that's what I'm playing on.
So
Well,
everyone
you
here
may
should
have
be
just
good.
given me a
There
reason
was
to do it.
there's been a little bit of upset about the game, about specifically the pre-order bonuses.
We should talk about this because people are bitching up a storm about microtransactions in this game, and I totally get it. So in the game, there's a couple things, and you're going to mention the pre-order stuff, which
Yes.
is definitely legitimate, but there are two things you can pay for other than DLC. There are microtransactions for praxis kits, which are basically every time you level up, you get a praxis kit and you can buy an augmentation. And there is for credits, so you can buy stuff in the game with credits. The thing is, And I hate microtransactions. I agree that they shouldn't be in the game at all, but like I don't think people are realizing that the game, if it were in a bubble without the microtransactions, it would still be an amazing game. And the pacing and the amount, like how quickly you level up and how fast you get credits, it's equivalent to Human Revolution, which did not have any. It genuinely feels like here's the game, and then someone came in at the last minute and was like, "Oh, we got to put this on there." And like it makes no difference.
It really, I mean, that's. I will say this: that as much as I'm not a big fan of microtransactions in games, but in this particular case, it sounds like they're not hurting anybody.
They don't detract from the game. I think a lot of people hear microtransactions and think immediately like, well, it's going to be pay to win. The game's ruined. It's not going to be fun unless I spend extra money on it.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. Like, I like the only use case I can see for these microtransactions are if you are someone who just wants to basically cheat. And you have
like
to pay
a cheat
for
code.
cheats, which is still stupid.
Yeah.
But like it is not detracting from the game. And if you're on PC, you can use Cheat Engine and get all the practice kits you want. So I don't have a huge problem with that. But you were mentioning the DLC stuff.
Yeah, so the pre-order
stuff.
bonus, one of the pre-order bonuses was called a Covert Agent Pack, and it gave you stuff like was like a consumables pack, and it had trying to look up what it contained, but it was basically like the big thing in it was praxis kits it contained, and people are upset because basically once you use it, it's consumed. It is a consumable item, and you don't get that every time you start a new save. So once you've consumed it, it's gone for good. You do not get it anymore.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's in that save.
So
It's in that save and that save only. So if you decide that in 6 months you want to play the game again, you start a new save, you won't have that. It's just like it was only usable the one time.
There's a couple things with this. So it comes with a couple different guns. And I think it comes with like a pistol that's upgraded, so you could use that for like a stealth run if you get a silencer for it. But like you can allocate some of those things to your playthrough and save some of them for the other one. So it does it gives you a little boost, but it's useless to claim all on one character.
Yeah, what I see here, what people are complaining is that initially there was no indication that they could only be used once. It says that the game tells you that it can be redeemed again in future saves.
It does?
Oh, well, if it says that, then that's just
I mean, I
It
think
says they've subsequently renamed it to, where is it? They added the word consumables.
Consumables pack and a durables pack.
Right.
It has, in the game, the way you redeem it is you open your inventory, and there's a button that's called Go to Storage.
There's the screenshot. It even says confirm transfer. Once this item is transferred to your inventory, it cannot be returned to the storage, but it can be applied to other save games before it is used.
Before
it's used.
Oh, okay, I see.
So
it's still like even that's confusing.
Right.
That is confusing.
So I get why people are confused.
I understand the disappointment there, but it is like, I don't know, their pre-order bonuses, a little extra. Like I'm not even using them because
pre-order bonuses are normally something cosmetic or something that persists across multiple playthroughs.
The one thing in this pre-order thing that would upset me is that there are two trench coats in the DLC, and I want both of them. I want them on all my playthroughs because I like cosmetic stuff. I don't necessarily need the guns on every playthrough because if there's I think there's two guns. I think it's like a combat rifle and a pistol.
Well, let me ask: is this something that comes with pre-order is one thing typically where you can pre-order the game for retail price, or was this only coming with pre-orders for like deluxe edition? Is it something? So you didn't pay any additional money?
No, I paid $60 for the game, and I got they had a really big pre-order kerfuffle where they had this like, we're gonna have tiers of pre-orders, and you can pay for this and this and this, and you get this and this, and they're like, we're gonna give it all to you for the one price because that sounds better to us. And so it's just a pre-order bonus.
Well, that's good. I mean, that is, to me, says it's really less of a thing to complain about. Yeah. To be honest, it's like it'd be nice if you'd use it again, but if you didn't pay any more for it, then it's not like you have spent money on a product that it has evaporated.
Yeah. The one other thing in this is that there are, you've seen this in like other like Hitman games, is that there are 2 packs right now. I don't even know if they're available yet, but they might be. But they're like $5, and they're basically an assault pack, and I can't remember the name of the other one, but it's like assault and like stealthy pack or tactical pack. And one of them comes with the skin for your combat rifle, and one of them comes with an AUG and like a praxis kit or 2, and the other one's like the same thing but with another AUG. So people are sort of upset that 2 AUGs are left out of the game except for DLC, and that's totally valid. Like I wouldn't, I'd prefer to have that stuff in the game too. But, and I'm not saying it makes it right because other games do it, but like you look at Just Cause and like 50% of the game now is like DLC weapons and shit. Not that I agree with it. I'd rather have all that stuff in the game.
I mean, I lived through the Destiny era of you guys on PS4 got like 2 extra guns that we never got to
Still happening.
see.
For at least another year.
Yeah,
people
they
are
extended
pissed.
that exclusivity period.
So I mean, it happens.
It totally sucks, but I mean, at the same time, it's not like the game feels any less complete because of these 2 missing AUGs. Like, if you didn't know about the AUGs, you wouldn't care. Like, it still feels like a complete game, and those 2 maybe just didn't make the cut in the first release. So, it's a really good game. I'm gonna keep playing the shit out of it.
I look forward to
I've played
playing
like
it.
6 hours so far. I've done 1 mission and 1 side mission, and I've broken
Good game.
1 side mission. I can't wait to play more.
Now, on a related note, though, one of the things that seems to be a criticism in some of the reviews that I read was that if you like Deus Ex, it's a good Deus Ex game, but it's not particularly innovative. It doesn't do a whole lot new stuff that hasn't been done by Deus Ex before. And it was weird because it seemed like that came up very much in the con section of reviews, like it was a markdown for the game, like it suffered as a result. But I found it interesting because isn't that exactly why you would play this game, is because you wanted to play a Deus Ex game?
It's funny, we talked about this on on a different game earlier today, where it's like when developers make a sequel, if you change the sequel too much, people get really mad saying that you fucked up the game and that it was fine already. Then if you don't change it enough, then people get mad saying you just made the same game again. It's like how
Right, it's just a rehash at this point, man.
right. You really got to walk a fine line there.
If they take the time to refine their formula, like, I feel like Halo's changed a lot. Like, it's sort of innovated on itself. But
yeah, it's really changed.
But
Yeah.
I mean, for a while it was like, they added multiplayer in Halo 2 that was like on live. And that was a big deal. But like a lot of it was refining the gunplay, refining the weapons, refining like the world. It wasn't exactly innovating on itself. And like I feel the same way about like Mass Effect. Like, they're not innovating; they're just refining. And I think when you get to a game series,
Well, I mean,
I'm going
control
to
scheme,
disagree with
yeah.
you there. Going from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2
was a huge.
It's a very different game. Mass Effect 1 was not a good game.
but it was.
I said it.
But
Mass Effect 2 and 3 were really
it had
good.
the building blocks for a good game. Like,
Right.
You have all like you have
Mass
all
Effect
the
1 was a
You have all
beta.
the same systems, but they're refined in 2. It's not innovated. You know what I mean? Like, they're not making new things and changing the way you do stuff. Like, they're mostly refining it. Do you not agree?
I think we saw more than a refining in the jump from Mass Effect 1 to 2.
I mean,
That's fair.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's
think- I
hard
think-
the terms you're using. It's like refining versus innovating. Refinement sometimes requires innovation.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
and not every innovation goes amazing. I mean, we
Yeah.
all remember planet scanning, and that wasn't a good time.
It's the fucking worst. But I feel like in the games, like when you find a series that you like, for example, like for me, like Dark Souls, like I love Dark Souls 1. All I wanted out of Dark Souls 2 was more Dark Souls 1. And they kind of actually went too far with it, and it wasn't actually the best, but then in 3 they went back. So I feel like in IP to IP, I kind of want similarities and just refinement and more of the things I loved, maybe with a little new stuff scattered in, but I don't necessarily need a whole new game every time.
Yeah, but if you're looking at something critically, that's going to be one of those things where you got to find something to talk about. Like if they didn't revolutionize it in some way, if they didn't provide a hook that carries you from the previous game into the new game, then it's something to point out. Whether it's necessarily profoundly good or bad, that depends on the reviewer. But it is worth mentioning that's like, well, if you like the last title, you probably like this title because it's not different.
Well, it's the same but better is what you're looking for, and is what I'm looking for in a lot of games. Like,
The trick is that you end up then sometimes you'll narrow your audience because you can't count on everyone who purchased the first game purchasing the second game because it's the same game again.
Sure.
And that doing that doesn't broaden, it doesn't create a window for a new audience exactly. So I feel like what they're trying to do a lot is innovate, make cool new stuff, but make it familiar enough that the people who like the first one aren't going to get on your back and be little bitches about it, but that you can invite new people into the series. I was a grumpy old man about Elder Scrolls when I think it was Oblivion when they added your next objective point on your compass, essentially. Like, well, that's some noob shit right there. I remember more when I had my paper map out, I was consulting the town that they told me to go to, like the whole area, and I had to go and find stuff, and it was really, really hard. And so I saw that, and I was like, that's so dumb.
That
that's
was your
so
equivalent
lame.
of walking uphill in the snow to school.
It
both ways.
absolutely was, because I get it as a new player. If someone had dropped you into that world, it's very, very intimidating. And now I use that compass all the time. So, but initially I was outraged over it, absolutely outraged that they could dumb my precious franchise down so much.
The innovation I would like to see in Mankind Divided would be the ability to run upstairs. Because if you're sprinting at stairs, you cannot fucking run up them. Like, you slow down slower than walking.
There's an AUG for that.
Come on.
No.
What did we learn from the ED209? Machine legs and stairs don't mix.
Yeah, that's how you stop
with.
Claptrap in Borderlands
There
2,
you go.
right? He encounters his enemy stairs.
Robot legs, they can't handle it.
I got something I need to read here.
Okay.
I want to remind everyone this episode of The Patch is also brought to you by Movement. Finally, summer is here, and you know how I'm on the lookout for some hot new gear. Well, Movement Watches is hooking us up, taking care of all our new summer style needs. Movement has new bands and new watches to totally get you ready. Starting at just $95, that's summer style that won't leave your wallet hanging. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you have to check out their awesome content on Instagram. With their classy design meets styled minimalism, Movement Watches are perfect for suiting up or going casual. Movement watches have tons of interchangeable bands and color schemes that'll match your summer look perfectly. You're making me laugh. These watches look like they should be $400 to $500, but Movement keeps them at a perfect price point, starting at just $95. The whole platform is bouncing with Gilby's laughing. If you're as impressed as we are with the watches, then you need to join Movement today. So where are you taking your Movement watch this summer? Go to mvmtwatches.com/patch. They'll give you 15% off your entire purchase. That's mvmtwatches.com/patch. Go check it out and tally up the watches that you want.
Tally ho.
Thanks to Movement for sponsoring this episode of The Patch.
Oh, now you
Bounce
stop
the
the
entire
giggling.
world
During
with your
that, I
mirth.
don't think he was giggling so hard the whole platform was shaking.
It's really funny, though.
Yeah, of course, spell check doesn't catch it because it's a word.
It is a word.
Fuck.
So, any of you play the Titanfall 2 tech test?
I heard
I
nothing
missed
but
it.
bitching.
Yeah,
What
it
is
was-
wrong with it?
So it's a little bit swimmier. You don't hold on to walls quite as long, but it's not because it's a little swimmier. It's hard to tell if you're still on the wall or if you're now falling. And so there was a huge outrage about it. Actually, like everyone was so upset about the changes because I guess they decided that it did not nail that balance between innovation.
This is the game we were
Which
talking
they've
about
already-
earlier.
They've
when it came to-
already, they've already talked about that and how they're going to continue to rebalance it.
One thing
They've
to say,
released a statement about
I
that.
didn't
Pretty
play
cool.
the tech test because I saw there was a lot of negative reaction to it. And I was like, I'll just keep playing No Man's Sky. So I played No Man's Sky all weekend.
I played a few matches in it, and I will say the grappling hook didn't feel like I would have expected it to, but it did feel a lot more like it probably should.
Also, the grappling hook is only available to one class.
There's that, yeah.
So they're like Titanfall 2 now with grappling hooks as long as you play them on class.
For that guy.
Damn.
Yeah.
They've really narrowed it seemed like they've really narrowed down the weapon augmentation type stuff. Like some of those menus were still there essentially, but in terms of like swapping out scopes and modifying your weapon, I think it may just be that the UI looks so much more simplified now that it doesn't read as many options, but and a lot of them weren't there for the tech test. The grappling hook, if you're used to a Just Cause 3 or Just Cause 2 style grappling hook, feels very different because it's just like in one of those you hit it and you start reeling in and you just shoot directly at where the grappling hook is. In Titanfall 2 right now, the grappling hook hits and it's like you weigh 1,000 pounds.
Oh,
And
really?
just start
You don't know that you don't, considering like
That's
the
true.
armor and your weaponry and everything.
I also was a robot.
You could be wearing really heavy shoes.
Do you have like when you're holding on with the grappling hook? Is it sort of like Uncharted style where you can like swing from like in a direction that you want to
You
swing?
do have to kind of get that movement down. Is that it becomes a lot more about how much momentum you put into it, and you can still jump. You've got like two or some. I think you may be able to have a third at some point, but I think you've got like 2 boost jumps,
Right.
which you can do while on the grappling hook.
Did you see the video that someone made showing how ridiculous all the sounds during the Titanfall level up
No.
process are? I've got it here. I don't know if we can hear it, if we can put it on screen. Okay, well, but I'm gonna hit play on it.
Okay. Let's see if anything happens.
Okay.
There we go. Oh,
You can't hear it because
sounds.
it's going through over there.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's lots of little sub.
And it's like every time you level up, your guns level up.
Oh, fuck.
God.
Really?
Well,
So-
no, I mean you level up your guns, which I think is what levels up your.
This is all just one post-match
This
thing.
is one
Yeah.
post match.
Jesus.
You know what? I skip this every
It's
time.
42 seconds long.
You don't have to watch it.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not gonna watch it.
No, that's
And then
true.
here we go. It's still going.
You don't know. There are a lot of people who it might take that exact amount of time to finish.
To be honest, and I think I
It
remember
takes me
this
about 10 seconds
in
to
the
finish.
last Titanfall was there was a lot of times when that stuff would be still going and the next match would start. I'm like, well, all right.
So one of the complaints I heard was that there's no longer a Titan timer, so you're not like constantly building up points to call your Titan in.
I didn't see a number. It looked like just a bar that kind of went around, and
So
as you did things, it
one of the
increased.
changes is that it's now based more on like your points in the match. So it's like a reward for doing well, as opposed to something that just anyone can do. And unfortunately, the reduction in the number of creeps available for less skilled players to bash on to try to like earn their Titan time means that people who aren't amazing at the game, who aren't dominating, aren't going to get any
This is
Titan.
bad for players like me.
Who, I mean, it's Titanfall. It's you got the game because you want to get into Titan and wreck shit.
Yeah.
Well, they also have said though that the charging of it is a lot more based on objective. And the objective of the game isn't necessarily always killing enemies. And this, in fact, for example, one of the game types that they released in this tech test was more. Well, it was still about killing other players, but it was as much about killing NPCs that were dropped into certain zones, including one big bounty thing that you would kill.
And this is the only real game type in the tech test, from what I understand.
No,
that
there's
actually,
Well, there were-
but this is the
so-
only one that has AI NPCs.
I'm not sure. There was
AI
Pilot
creep.
V Pilot, and then there was this one, which was I forget the name of
Bounty,
it.
I think.
Bounty, yeah. And there was a third one, I think. I just never played it.
Yeah,
just
I
played
think that one
Bounty.
also did not have any of the
Okay.
AI creep. It only existed in the Bounty game type.
Well,
So
and
anyway,
they're doing some different game types this weekend, right?
Yes, they're changing up
Yeah.
the game types, and I believe the available Titans and some of the other things. But anyway, so you kill the enemies, you would bank money off killing them, and then you'd have to, at the end of the round, take the money and put it in a bank. If someone kills you at any point in that, the amount of money you have is halved. And I don't think they get that money. They just get a player kill amount. So you don't necessarily even have to kill players to be the top scorer. In fact, there was one match I was in where I think the guy at the very top on my team, and we won, had 0 player kills. So it's more about staying alive and getting your bonus back to the bank and putting it in without getting killed.
Man, I was kind of hoping that with Titanfall 2, it would be more of a mech game that also allowed you to get out on foot and, kind of stay alive while you're getting to another mech.
As opposed to
As
an
opposed to a
on-foot
first-person
game that
shooter
you
game
sometimes get a mech for.
That you have a mech as a kill streak.
I will
for.
say, well, there are game types that are more like that, like Titan versus Titan, but the Titans felt a lot squishier, and I think it's because they no longer have a shield. They had a shield in the first one, right? Or am I
Yeah, you
They
could,
were,
misremembering?
like,
they
stop
were definitely
the-
hardier.
No, not just the defensive thing, but they actually had like a shield.
That just that extra armor, maybe?
Did they
Oh,
not?
right. Yeah, I think they did. And then, like, the pilots could circumvent it by, like, jumping on them.
Yes. There is still such a thing, though, and I only know this from reading about it today. I didn't actually get this when I was playing it. I just knew that when you rodeoed, instead of doing what you did before, which was you open up a hatch and just start shooting into the internals of the Titan, this time I jumped on it, ripped out like a battery thing, and then I jumped off. And I found a couple of those in various places on the map, too, where if you can, I guess you have it with you after you pull it out of the Titan. And what you can do is you can take that to a friendly Titan, stick it in there, and then it gets a shield. Also, if you re-rodeo subsequent times onto that same Titan, eventually it got to the point where I could take a grenade and like drop it down into it, and then it blew it up.
So the person
rodeo
you were
system is different.
rodeoing just really sucked. Because you were able to get on repeatedly to the
Well,
point where
It
this
sounds like
happened.
they were pretty bad.
The grappling hook system is going to take some getting used to as a Titan pilot, because it does warn you, like, oh, you're being grappled. But yeah, as a pilot, I can just throw the grapple.
What can you do when someone is grappling onto you or rotating you?
I figured out I could if you can whip around fast enough to find them, they're coming right at you and just pop them right in the face.
Can you not just like do one of these, like get it off?
You can't do the get it off. No, for some reason that's the Titan it can't reach that far back, I guess.
That sucks.
But you can still. That was the same way Titanfall 1 was, where other players on your team had to help you, or there were certain Titan augments.
You get like the electricity or the smoke and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I have to give Respawn a lot of credit. People were complaining really loudly after the end of the weekend about all these things, like the grappling hook and people's like points and the Titans being squishier and the swimminess and all that stuff. And they actually came out and they made a statement saying, thanks, we're making a whole bunch of changes.
Yeah, it's still
so some of them will be in the test this weekend as well. So it'll be interesting to see how much they can change that quickly. But this is a tech test that is actually a tech test and not a limited time demo.
Right.
It's like they are actively making changes based on the feedback.
And maybe it's because it's been so long since I played Titanfall 1, which I think we did a stream not that long ago. But aside from that, which was barely, it was like an hour of playing it after a year or something. And we played, a pretty good bit of it back when Titanfall was out, popular. It didn't feel that off to me. I was still wall jumping and doing all that, but that probably says more about the caliber of player would feel that change is the ones that are like, they're used to like wall jump on there, wall run, jump to this one, wall run, swing, do all that stuff and really have this very almost mirror's edge like flow to their gameplay. Whereas I was probably going to fall down anyway. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Every time I played that game, I'd wall jump on one wall and then just like fall off.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
And sometimes I'd get to that second or third wall. I was like, damn it, I'm awesome. Oh, I'm dead. But it didn't, for a more casual Titanfall player, it did not feel that bad. Even the getting used to how the grappling hook worked, I actually kind of liked it in the sense that it had that stretchy, saggy gravity effect. Because I could see how you could use that if you hit the jumps at the right point and incorporate it into wall runs to really get some speed and arc up into it.
So like Albus, you like the sagginess that comes with gravity.
I do. It's it works for me.
You're gonna really enjoy old age.
Oh man, any day now. It set in like a week ago, I think.
Seriously though, watch Heroes and Halfway.
That game kind of makes me want to play a new Mech Assault game because
well, there's the one that has been crowdfunded by the people who made the Shadowrun PC games, Harebrained Schemes.
Totally am not up to date on this.
I'll pull up some information for you here.
Thank you.
It's one of the games I have backed on crowdfunding.
That was like one of the first Xbox Live games I played, and man, was it fun.
They're doing BattleTech.
It's going to be another very RPG style, right?
Yes, this is more RPG, not first person. Yeah, sorry.
Adam got sadder and I got more excited.
For turn-based games.
I love turn-based games.
I love turn-based.
I also like mech sims, like Heavy Gear.
Well, here's the thing. You got to remember Titanfall 2 is going to have like a single-player campaign, which may scratch that itch a lot more than the multiplayer will.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping. Like, I'm looking forward to the single-player probably more than
So it looks like they've only released concept art at this point.
Okay. Do you think we'll ever get something like Steel Battalion again, where had that giant fucking table of a controller with the pedals?
Wasn't that like a $200?
It was.
Yeah.
It was $200 at the time. So I was like,
who could play that?
They released a second game though.
They made
but not a second controller.
No. But they made a second one that you could use a controller.
Oh yeah, they did. It was Xbox Live enabled.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember being young and being like, well, I cannot afford that, but goddamn, do I want it?
And it had like the headlight button.
Dude,
no, it had windshield wipers.
Windshield wipers.
It had windshield wipers. It had like
you had to start it. There was a clutch.
Yeah, the best
for
button,
shifting gears.
Yeah, the best button is there's an eject button hidden under a panel.
Yeah,
so you'd have to like flip it up and then go.
There it is. You see the ejects in the upper right. You have to flip it up and hit it.
If you didn't eject in single player and you died in your mech, it would delete your save.
Yeah, you were done.
Yeah. It was fucking, man, that game's
I only got to play it for
so
like an hour, but it was a lot of fun.
If anyone ever goes to a PAX, I don't know if it's at PAX West, but it's definitely at PAX East. They have these people collect all of them in the console gaming area, and they have a 5-on-5.
Shit.
Yes, every PAX. I go there every time. PAX South and PAX West. PAX East.
I'm going to West.
I'm going West
next
too.
week. I'll
see you there.
check it out.
Have fun.
I own one of those, and I've got it in storage. I don't know if I've ever really talked about it. I have a very extensive video game collection. One of these days, I should like bust it out.
Yeah, dude.
You should. We should take a look at that.
At an RTX or something.
Yeah.
And just have it all like set
Gus's
up.
corner.
Play.
Yeah, Gus's
Please
video
steal.
game dungeon.
Yeah, from my secret stash. So yeah, the BattleTech game, they raised almost $2.8 million on their Kickstarter.
All
That's
right.
fantastic.
Yeah, and they're I don't know what their projected release date is. I don't think it looks like March 2017.
I wonder how that stacks up against the
That seems
Shadowrun.
quick.
So
This was already a while ago. Like
Okay.
this is an older. I don't even know when it actually funded, but it was some time ago. Let me see if I can find it. October 2015. I see updates.
Okay.
Yeah, they launched the project end of September. They launched the project almost a year ago.
Okay, that's more reasonable.
Yeah,
then.
so it's coming along. They said their other one, Shadowrun.
do you guys see any of the Gamescom stuff that happened?
Yeah, we saw all of the Gamescom stuff that happened.
It wasn't like there wasn't a crazy amount, but all the Star Citizen showings at Gamescom looked really good, and
Gus, I think
Are
you
you
found your
getting
people.
the itch?
I'm getting the itch, but I'm also like so cautiously optimistic because
That's a
like I
good
know
place to
that there's
be.
almost no chance this game's gonna live up to the things I want out of it.
Let's it or
It's in the
come
No
out.
Man's Sky. You.
Yeah, it's gonna No Man's Sky me, and also
When
like
can
I'm a
we
little
have
worried
it?
about the excessive amount of paid for ships for $15,000.
Shadowrun Returns got $1.8 million on Kickstarter. Shadowrun Hong Kong got $1.2 million.
So they went up to 2.8.
2.8.
Nice.
With this new one with BattleTech. Yeah, I'm excited for all of the Star Citizen stuff to come together finally.
Yeah,
and finally I'll be connected.
The one thing in the demo that really got me was they got on the ship from like a space station. There was multiple people. They flew the ship down. They did a planetary landing, which looked fucking awesome because there's all like the fire on the outside of the ship.
Do they hit square and then it says landing area not clear?
Yep. And they sort of got too and they landed. One person got out of the ship and went into the space station, and he looked out the window, and the other person in the ship flew down. So there's like a seamlessness between like people inside, people outside, and the ships. And like it's fucking so cool, man.
Well,
I just want it to be Elite Dangerous mixed with No Man's Sky. Like people are already saying, like, oh, you can do a lot of that No Man's Sky stuff in Elite Dangerous. No, you can't. You can't get out on a planet. You can sort of get out. You can like deploy a rover or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I
There's
have a
not
lot
like
of
walk around.
I have a lot of people recommending Elite Dangerous to me, but I don't.
I've got it in my library. I need to try it out.
I've
It's
played
like-
around with it a
especially
little
for my
bit.
like
It's
VR
definitely not a
in-
game to play without a HOTAS.
It does. The space ship operation feels very strange and takes a lot of getting used to.
It's a space sim.
It is, but it works off a very unusual movement scheme. Like left on your stick is like,
Weird.
Oh, so it's like flying.
sorta. It's got
No,
more of a.
Is it like you're rolling as opposed
It's
to
very difficult to manage speed and changes in direction, which you would. It's like they tried to go for some kind of hybrid between actual Delta V physics and a flight sim. It takes to the point where if you want to change directions, you have to keep your speed in a certain zone of maneuverability. Otherwise, you just don't. Like you don't turn.
I get what you're saying. When I was doing it with a mouse, it was doing all fucking sorts of weird shit.
It works very strangely. I mean, even with controller, I've tried it with a joystick, but I didn't have I need a better joystick.
I think the most I'll spend on Star Citizen $300 for the one ship, but I'm fucking stoked for it.
we need to wrap.
I know.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you guys next time on The Patch.
Thanks for joining us.